This is Between the Uprights. Football is life. The rest is just details. Here are your hosts, Joe, Matt, and Chris.
It is Super Bowl week, baby. We got Chiefs, Eagles. It is happening down in NOLA. That's New Orleans for all you non-Southern people who don't know what the NOLA is. It's happening down there. It is going to be great. If you are not tuning in to the Super Bowl, I don't know what you're going to be doing this Sunday, but I know what I'm doing this Sunday. It's watching the Super Bowl, okay? We're going to find out if the Chiefs make history with a three-peat first team NFL history since the Super Bowl era to win 3 consecutive Super Bowls, or the Eagles stand in their way and prove that you can win a Super Bowl with a top running back and offensive line and defense. But hey, they still have a mid-quarterback, regardless of what you think of Jalen Hurts. But you know what? He loves when people doubt him. We've read the storylines all week. He loves when people doubt him, and he plays better when they doubt him. But the Eagles must not forget who they are and what got them here, because we've seen teams do that all playoffs, and you know where they're at? Fucking Cancun, baby. That's where they're at. So, Eagles fans, you better hope they remember who the hell they are. And Chiefs fans, you better hope they don't, because that is going to be a hell of a game. But I've said enough. It's time to get to the things you guys are here for. The things are in this title. The rest of the people here have important things to say, and I really don't have anything important to say because I never do. Matt agrees with me 110%. Sammy 100% agrees with me. Chris, she kind of sometimes like what I say, but not really that often.
Yeah, you suck at your job, Joe. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
I do suck at my job. So without any further ado or pomp and circumstance or any of that hogwash out there, we're going to get right into our X factors and our key matchups. So Matt, I'm going to start with you, buddy. Mainly because, you know, why go from everything I'm terrible at and not go to someone who's good at their job? And you give me a key matchup for this game, man.
Yeah, listen, first of all, we obviously have our defined roles on the show. If we're the Eagles, I'm the Saquon Barkley of the show. Sammy could be the offensive line. Chris can be the defense. And then you would be Jalen Hurts, Joe. So that would be your role. You're like Jalen Hurts / Nick Sirianni. So we clearly have all of our roles defined here.
We're slandering the coach and the QB? Sheesh.
But listen, okay. Obviously, listen. You want me to give the mainstream key matchup? I'll give you the mainstream key matchup. It's Saquon Barkley versus Chiefs run defense, and it's not even close. Like, this is going to be the matchup that decides the game. I guarantee it. And again, like I said, obviously this is the key matchup because this is the man who arguably should win MVP, and he's definitely winning Offensive Player of the Year versus one of the best defenses in football. And listen, Saquon Barkley right now is on a historic run. We haven't seen many runs like the one Saquon Barkley is on right now. He is doing historic things in the NFL right now. 2,000 rushing yards, obviously, in the regular season. And in the playoffs, I'm going game by game here. 119 versus the Packers, 205 and 2 touchdowns versus the Rams, and then 118 and 3 touchdowns versus the Commanders. He has been dominant. He's been the reason why these guys are where they are right now. He has been the main culprit for why the Eagles are in the Super Bowl this year, and I have no doubt that he is going to be the key in this matchup. But listen, more history for Saquon Barkley. He's already second most rush yards in a season, including playoffs, of all time. The second most rushing yards in playoffs in a season, including the playoffs, of all time. Just 29 yards behind Terrell Davis's 98 season where the Broncos won the Super Bowl. So again, like I said, Saquon is having a historic run right now. And he's facing the 8th ranked rush defense in Kansas City in the regular season. They allowed 101.8 yards per game in the regular season. But in the playoffs, it's been their weakness. They gave up 147 versus Buffalo on 4.6 yards per carry, and they gave up 149 versus Houston on 5.1 yards per carry. So, again, this team has shown that they can be run on in the playoffs, and if you can get run on in the playoffs, Saquon Barkley is not a good matchup for you in the Super Bowl. And obviously, we know the run game is Philadelphia's strength, second in football during the regular season with 179.3 yards per game, and then second in the playoffs, but up to 227.7 yards per game and 10 rushing touchdowns in 3 games in the playoffs. It is a absolutely dominant run game, obviously led by Saquon Barkley, but like we mentioned, the offensive line for the Eagles, and then Jalen Hurts, he plays a big role in that run game as well. It's just him being a threat with his legs, and obviously the tush push, we know about that, and that's how they get a lot of their touchdowns early on the goal line as well. So again, this run game for the Eagles is dominant, and they're going up against a defense that can be had in the Kansas City Chiefs. So, and again, like I mentioned, the Chiefs defense hasn't been good against the run in the playoffs, but it's bad against the specific set that the Eagles use the most. The Chiefs run defense splits look like this. Versus 2+ tight ends, they're number 3 in terms of the NFL in yards per carry, and then 7th in EPA per play. So against 2 tight end sets, they are really, really good against the run. But versus 11 personnel, they are 24th in the league in yards per carry and 17th in the league in EPA per play. And those stats are according to Warren Sharp of Sharp Stats, of Sharp Football. And listen, Philly uses 11 personnel on 81% of their snaps in the playoffs. So the thing that the Chiefs aren't good at as far as stopping the run is the thing that the Eagles do the most, and that's use 11 personnel and run the ball down your throat. And Saquon Barkley is averaging 7 yards per carry when he runs the ball out of 11 personnel. So, and only 5.2, obviously 5.2 still good for yards per carry, but only 5.2 yards per carry out of 12 personnel. So we know what package is going to be on the field all the time. It's going to be A.J. Brown. It's going to be Devontae Smith. It's going to be Javon Dotson. It's going to be Dallas Goedert, and it's going to be Saquon Barkley in the backfield. They'll obviously run some Jalen Hurts out of it with read options as well, but it's going to be Saquon Barkley out of that 11 personnel versus Kansas City defense. He's the key to this game. If Saquon Barkley does what he did against the Commanders and the Rams, the Eagles are going to win. But if the Chiefs can hold them down a little bit like the Packers did, where it was 119 yards still, but only on like a little bit lower efficiency, where it was 4.8 yards per carry, I think the Chiefs will win. So Saquon Barkley, obviously, versus this Chiefs run defense is going to be the key to this matchup in the Super Bowl.
And it's hard not to pick it. I mean, you said it's a mainstream answer, but let's be fair. That's the matchup everyone's watching anyway. They're going to see how that front seven, how that defense defends the best running back in the NFL. And the guy who's trying to prove that running backs are valuable in the NFL has a lot to prove in this situation right now is Saquon Barkley. So I completely agree with you on that one, Matt. But you know what? Sammy might disagree. I know Sammy's always on a different page than we are. And so I'm going to go to Sammy for his key matchup in this game. Sammy, I got to know, man, is it Saquon Barkley?
Of course it isn't. Look, okay, first of all, I'm not on the different page to everybody, okay? I'm not. It's just, sometimes my takes differ from Matt's. Not that Matt isn't, right. Matt's right. Like, in this case, he is. In most cases, he isn't. Now, with that being said,
what was that?
Don't worry about it, man. Look, let's just cut it down to the chase. You guys are going to bring up Saquon Barkley. Let's talk about the real star of the show. And that's Patrick Mahomes. Okay. He's won back-to-back Super Bowls. He is about to go up against the number one defense. Oh, the number one defense. Ooh. Here's Patrick Mahomes against number one scoring defenses, including the playoffs. He is 6-1. He is averaging 31 points per game. 322.4 passing yards, a 15 touchdown to 7 interception passing touchdown to interception ratio, and he has a 94.3 passer rating. So let's be honest here, guys. Let's be honest. Number one defense. This is crucial because no number one defense has truly been able to stifle the greatness of Patrick Mahomes. So that's my key matchup. Patrick Mahomes versus the defense. I know what you're thinking. That's basic, Sam. That's so cliche. Yes, it is. What more do you want me to say here? What exactly do you want me to do? There's so many nuances to the game. You're probably right. There isn't. To this game, no, there isn't. Okay, I hate to break it to everybody, but Patrick Mahomes has completely defied all logic when it comes to the playoffs. He's gone into the league. He's gone into the playoffs with mediocre defenses, and they've won Super Bowls. He's gone to the playoffs with really good defenses, and guess what happened? He won Super Bowls. This year, he's coming in with a really good defense, and he's going up against a fantastic defense as well. Am I supposed to be like super studying all the aspects of the game? I'm sorry, I'm not going to. You guys can go ahead and do that, man. And you guys are probably going to say, Sam, you're so lazy. Sam, what in the world? Sam, this is the Super Bowl. You have to really give it your all. Shut up. No, I don't. Okay. When it comes to the Chiefs, I don't have to do anything because every single time I picked against them last year, and I picked them against the Eagles, and I didn't pick against them with the 49ers, the year they had a really bad defense in 2019, and yet they went to the Super Bowl, and the defense got the stops they needed to, as only Steve Spagnuolo can do. I expect Steve Spagnuolo to be very important in this game plan to stop Saquon Barkley, but I'm really wondering to see how the Eagles are going to attack Patrick Mahomes. Because what can you do? Every team has tried everything. And when it comes down to you need a play. Patrick Mahomes does it. last year the Niners were stifling the Chiefs for the entire first half. What happens? Second half comes in. Fourth quarter happens. OT happens. Patrick Mahomes turns into the GOAT all of a sudden. Okay? For lack of a better term. I want to analyze this game with all the nuances. I really do. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes you really can't because it's kind of like Brady. With Brady, and I have to use Brady here because if we're being honest, it's Brady, it's Patrick Mahomes right now, okay? That's the reality. That is the reality of the situation, right? Don't do that, Chris. Now, it's not that far off, mostly because while Tom Brady was great at analyzing defenses and picking them apart, Patrick Mahomes can do that. And even if the defense has given him nothing, Patrick Mahomes is like, okay, I'll use my legs. And he uses them, and he's for a guy his size, he's actually really pretty fast. We've all seen the dad bod pics, okay? We've all seen him. He doesn't look like he's in the craziest shape. He's no Lamar Jackson, right? Six pack or anything like that. But yet, when he scrambles the pocket, or when he goes for a run, you think he's freaking Josh Allen out there. The way teams just don't want it. Teams can't tackle him for whatever reason. Look, the bottom line, here's my point. I want so badly to see the Chiefs win this not the Chiefs. What are we talking about? To see the Eagles win this Super Bowl. I really do. They have everything to do it. That's the crazy part. They have everything. They have the number one defense. They have the best offensive line. They have the best running back. They have a QB. And I think that at the end of the day, it's just so hard for me to pick against Patrick Mahomes here. And honestly, this is one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. I've been right about pretty much everything this year when it comes to picks and stuff. So this one is definitely hard, and I'm gonna have a hard time picking a prediction here, Joe. It's gonna be very, very difficult.
Well, the good news is you don't have to yet, so you got some time to think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Thank you, Chris.
He was about to give it away.
Yeah, he was, man.
Give it all away. He's about to give it all up.
I was. First of all, no, I wasn't planning on giving it away. I just creating tension,
Happened.
If it would have gone out there, then what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody knows my opinion. They'd just be waiting for Matt and Chris's.
I'm just saying right now, right? Yeah, because no one waits for my opinion. I'm just chop fucking liver here, guy. Thanks.
Yeah, no one cares.
All right, let's not go that far.
Yeah, but I mean, I was gonna say, hey, Eagles fan, Sammy has been riding with the Eagles all postseason, and now he sounds like he's jumping ship in the Super Bowl. So if there's someone you want to attack, it's that guy. But before we get
what the heck? No, don't attack me, please. No, I don't need that. I've seen the videos. I've seen the videos, Philly. You guys are disgusting, by the way. Unbelievable. Can you have some class, man? What in the world is going on? Stop taking hats. Stop stealing hats from other. Stop stealing hats from other people, bro. Have some respect. I've been riding with you guys, and I support the team. Chill out. My goodness. I don't care.
Philly doesn't have any chill, bro.
This is all him. This is all him. I have nothing to do with that.
Philly ain't got no chill.
I said what I said, man. Come find me.
He's in Miami. There's only so many of them. So many places you can find in Miami.
Snitch on him.
I'm in.
The whole city's coming to Miami for vacation after this. They're looking for you, buddy.
I'll be fine, man. I got the 305 behind me, man. We're so casual.
It's only like a population of 3 some odd million people. It wouldn't be that hard.
Hey, one night in downtown, they'll relax. I promise you.
Yeah. But we got our X Factors coming up. Our X Factor expert in Chris is going to give us all of our X Factor stuff that we need for this game. So, Chris, you've heard what we think the key matchups are here. We think the key matchup for Sammy, we heard that. It's Patrick Mahomes. We heard Matt's key matchup. It's fucking Saquon Barkley. Now it's time for the X Factor in this game. Who decides the game, and who do you think that is going to be?
So they've both, I think, have put out really great points. Saquon Barkley absolutely has to be someone that's mentioned. I think we all know that he really drives the Eagles offense. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. We know most people are going to expect the Chiefs to win. I think that's kind of inevitable. So I don't care about the X factors for their team, to be honest. Of course, they have some, right? They have some. They have Travis Kelce. We know that's his go-to guy in big moments. We know that Travis Kelce is probably contemplating retiring after this season, especially if they win a Super Bowl. So that's probably something to look for. You have Patrick Mahomes and his scramble abilities we just talked about, his ability to kind of get out of the pocket and find something that maybe isn't necessarily there immediately. Or maybe, we look at the increase in, the continuity that he's building with, wide receiver Xavier Worthy, and how that's going, their rookie wide receiver. And it seems that's kind of coming along. It might be fun to watch, going down the stretch in the next couple seasons. But no, I'm going to talk about the Eagles and the specific for me X factor overall, just on Sunday for the title, right? We've already talked about Saquon Barkley, but I look at the Eagles offensive line absolutely has to be the X factor, because their biggest X factor as far as who they have to deal with is on the other side of the ball, right? So what they need to do is they need to find a way to absolutely shut down Chris Jones. I don't care if that's you're doubling him. I don't care if you're kind of not cutting kneecaps, but kind of doing whatever you can legally to get him to like not bum rush you. Whatever you can do. But Chris Jones and that Chiefs defensive front absolutely has to be the main priority. And the reason being is because they're going to need Saquon Barkley to have as many touches as absolutely possible. For me personally, I feel like he needs to have at least 25 to 30. I think he averages right now about 22. He averaged 22, I believe, in the last 3 games during the postseason. So I would hope that he gets to 25, 30 touches. He's going to need the ability to get chunk yards. And to do that, the O-line cannot give up pressures. They cannot give up sacks. They can't allow for Barkley to be bottled up and taken out of the game. Because what happens if he gets taken out of the game, that means you're turning Hurts into a pocket passer. And we have talked about this in previous episodes. And it's not any disrespect to him whatsoever. But if I'm the OC of the Eagles in the biggest game of my career, at least thus far, and I absolutely critically do not want all that pressure to be on Jalen Hurts, and I damn sure don't want it to be him having to throw the ball 30 to 45 times. And let me tell you exactly why. So just this year alone, so we're looking at regular season 2024, Jalen Hurts has recorded a 9-1 record when he's thrown less than 30 passes. Okay, so then didn't really have a lot as far as he only threw, I think, three over 30. I'm sorry, this year. He didn't play. Yeah, there's a couple games that he missed, so I'm not even correlating that. So I look back at 2023, right? So he recorded an 8-3 record with, again, throwing less than 30 pass attempts, right? So he's 3-3 throwing more than 30 passes in a game. Okay, so then you go into the postseason. Right, so this year alone, so thus far this postseason, he's thrown for less than 30 attempts in each game. He's thrown 21 in the wild card versus Green Bay. He's thrown 20 in the divisional game against the Rams, and he's thrown 28 in the championship against the Commanders for the NFC title. Right, last year in the 2023 postseason wild card game against the Bucs, he threw 35 attempts and they lost. So they're like, all right. So in the 2024 postseason, he's had less than 30 pass attempts in all of those, and they've gotten through. So then you look at the Super Bowl, right? They went to the Super Bowl back in 2022, okay? He had 38 attempts, and despite probably having a better stat line than Mahomes, he lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, okay? So when we start looking at that, it has to be. He cannot have more than 30 attempts in his game, or you're absolutely going to lose it. So for me, the X factor absolutely has to be that offensive line, and they have to be able to take care of the front line so that Saquon Barkley and Hurts can do what they do, because their run game has to be on par. It cannot be a one level game where all they're doing is he's going back and throwing the ball down the field. That's not going to get you where you want to go. I don't care what you have to do. So for me, the story of the day for the Eagles, you got to feed Barkley as many times as you can. You use the tushy push as much as you want. You use QB runs, use Barkley in some screenplays, whatever it takes. But they both have to be a part of it. Go get it. Don't change up. That's the biggest thing. I think Joe said it at the beginning of the pod, right? Don't forget who the fuck you are. Okay? remember why you got here, remember how you got here, and go get it done.
Yeah, and it's funny because we talked about Jalen Hurts and how we don't want him thrown out. I still think Jalen Hurts is my X factor in this game. I think that it is going to come down to Jalen Hurts' legs and how he's going to use the RPOs, the run options there. When he takes the football, we forget that he scored 14 touchdowns this year on the ground and had almost 650 yards. He had 630. So he scored 14 touchdowns rushing the ball on the ground to Saquon Barkley's 13. So just be clear, Jalen Hurts is a very, very, very prominent runner, and I think it's going to come down to that, and that's my X factor for this game is how Jalen Hurts runs the football more so than Saquon Barkley runs the football. Fair. And to be clear, Matt has already come up or said some things here, and that the Chiefs hadn't did very well against the run, averaging only 108 yards against them and all these things like that. So this is running the football for the Eagles. That's their identity. And they're going up against a team that essentially was the best at defending the run in most situations outside of certain alignments, which Matt alluded to. But all of that information, all of those talking points, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to get into predictions, baby. We're getting into the predictions. And do I be greedy and go first?
Yeah, why not?
Or do I put Sammy on the spot now and he's had a few minutes to collect his thoughts and decide where he's going? Will he continue the Eagle fandom train in the playoffs he's been riding the entire playoffs? Or is he jumping off at the next stop and taking a full duck boat ride to Kansas City? Which will it be, Sammy?
Look, I'll be honest, man. Philly fans, I respect the passion. You know what I mean? I do. You guys have a tendency of going a little overboard, and by a little, I mean a lot. And I get it, your team, your franchise, you guys aren't used to winning that often, I guess. I don't know. But the bottom line is this. No, that was my last joke at Philly, okay? All right, I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
Dolphins?
I am. Look, I see it. You guys see it back there, man. Look, I'm a Miami Heat fan too, okay? We're used to winning. That's all I'm gonna say. Look, don't want to discuss the Dolphins now. It's gonna get me mad. Look, let me go ahead and say this. Philly, I'm gonna go with you guys. I'm gonna go with the Eagles, and here's why. And this is shocking to me because I still think Patrick Mahomes is up there with the greatest of all time with Tom Brady. I firmly believe that. He can lose. He really could. If he doesn't, fits my agenda perfectly. But I think this year, the Chiefs run defense, I think there are some holes there. There are. And I think there are holes that the Eagles can exploit with Saquon Barkley, with that elite offensive line, and with Jalen Hurts as well. I know you mentioned one factor, Chris, one X factor. I'm going to give you guys another X factor. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. It seems like these receivers who are at the top of everybody's duo list a year ago, and for some, they still consider them at the top. They've almost gone silent now that the playoffs have started, and it's kind of been unfortunate. If they get going, look, this could be really interesting for the Eagles. I'm picking the Eagles to win. I think they will find a way. They have the number one defense. I know the stat that they put up about number one defenses. Now I know the stat I put up. I think the difference is Zach Bond. I think the difference is Jalen Carter. I think there are better players right now on this roster than there were in the past roster. I think your secondary is so much better. I think everything about this team is a complete upgrade. And I firmly believe that Jalen Hurts will win his first Super Bowl ring of his entire career. I firmly believe that Saquon Barkley will cement himself as a future Hall of Famer if he hasn't done it already. And I think this is the year that the Eagles really make their case. It doesn't matter. You could still run the football and go win Super Bowls. You can have a wishy-washy passing game and go and win the Super Bowl if you have an elite defense, if you have an elite offensive line, and if you have Saquon frickin' Barkley on your team. So, Jalen Hurts, you don't have to do that much. But if you do, just don't turn the ball over. Because we all remember, last Super Bowl, he turned the ball over, and it cost him. It cost him. Jalen Hurts doesn't have to do that much, and he hasn't been doing that much all year long. He really hasn't. And, we give Jalen Hurts a lot of flack. He hasn't made mistakes either. He hasn't done that much. He hasn't made a lot of mistakes. All he has done is do good enough to win. So if he does that one more time, he can call himself a Super Bowl champion. So with that being said, I'm going with the Eagles, man. I'm going against the boogeyman again and again and again. And maybe, I don't know, man. I've been right all year. I think this year the Eagles going to take it. I haven't been right all year. That's a fall. That's a lie.
You've picked the Eagles every single step of the way, so I was not surprised, and I was going to give you so much flack if you jumped ship now. So
you wouldn't have blamed me, though. It's Patrick Mahomes. What are we talking about,
I would have
man?
blamed you.
No.
I would have blamed you.
Why?
Guy, man.
Why,
you
man?
Talking so much shit. So much.
I was not, guys. No, I was not.
Your mouth so much in the chat, so much in these videos, and we didn't record. I wish we had the recordings. I might go back and try to find them. But this man talked so much flag. If he didn't stay with the Eagles, oh, you were getting it.
Look, man, the Eagles are that team, man. I think this is the year.
Okay. So now we've heard some Eagles talk. Let's go to our resident disgruntled Chiefs believer, because as much as he hates to do it,
disgruntled is definitely a word.
He's going to pick the Chiefs. He's going to give us all the reasons why he wants Philly to win, and he's going to go, but it's Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Travis Kelce, and they're going to win. So I'm going to go to Matt, even though I just took his spiel. All he's really got to do is give us a score, and that would be it. So Matt, who are you taking in the Super Bowl, bud?
I mean, I'm going to be a broken record. I've been a broken record for 2 years now. Like we were on a different podcast talking about the same thing last year. Like it was the same exact thing. I was telling everybody the entire year. It was the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl, and everyone was like, no, it's going to be the Ravens. The Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. Listen, again, everybody knows who I'm rooting for. Okay, I'm rooting for the Eagles, and I'll be happily wrong if my prediction is wrong. I'll come in here, I'll have a big old smile on my face, be like, yay, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I was wrong. Thank God. It's just like we do the same thing year after year after year. We just keep doing it and we don't change, right? It just doesn't make any sense, right? Again, since what's about to be three-peat started, let me just go through playoff game by playoff game for the Chiefs and what the narratives were before the playoff games, okay? The first Super Bowl of this three-peat, you remember the 2022 AFC title game versus Cincinnati. The year before, they lost to Cincinnati in the AFC title game, and they're playing them again in that AFC title game. And Mahomes had gotten hurt. He'd hurt his ankle the week before. So again, the narrative before that game was, oh, Mahomes, high ankle sprain, and they lost at home versus Cincinnati last year. What's going to happen? I think I'm going to take Kansas City, or I think I'm going to take Cincinnati is what everybody's saying, and the Chiefs win. Okay. The 2022 Super Bowl versus the Eagles. Oh, Mahomes, he's still got the high ankle sprain, and the Chiefs have and the Eagles have a better team. I'm taking Philly, and the Chiefs win. Okay. The 2023 divisional versus Buffalo. And it was that year where the Chiefs had a bad regular season. The entire season, they were bad. They went 11-6. Everybody's like, oh, the Chiefs are done. The Chiefs are done. Buffalo's better. And Josh Allen's finally going to get over the hump. I'm taking the Bills, and the Chiefs won. Okay. 2023 AFC Championship game versus Baltimore. The Ravens had been dominant all year. Okay. They beat the Chiefs, or maybe they didn't beat the Chiefs that year, like in the regular season. But again, they're just better than the Chiefs. They're going to beat them. I'm taking Baltimore, and the Chiefs win. Okay. The Super Bowl against the Niners. The Niners are just better. They're going to avenge their Super Bowl loss from years prior. I'm picking San Francisco, and the Chiefs win. Last week, 2 weeks ago, the AFC title game, it's finally the Bills' time. The Chiefs are overrated. They've been getting lucky all year. Allen's better than Mahomes. I'm taking the Chiefs win. Okay. Fortunately, for my pick and integrity's sake, I have never been that guy. Last year, like I said, I was trying to tell everybody, Chiefs are winning the Super Bowl. This year, I've been trying to tell everybody, Chiefs are still winning the Super Bowl. And even though they've been doubted every year, almost every game of the postseason, like I just said, you want to know what the result is? The Chiefs win the Super Bowl. So, Joe, you asked me who I think is going to win the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. It's going to be 26-24. Mahomes is going to throw a touchdown to Kelce to win the game. Kelce's going to retire. Mahomes is going to win the MVP. And we're all collectively, as a United States of America and as a football watching nation, going to be disappointed because we all want the Eagles to win. It's not going to happen. It's just the Chiefs are going to win again, and it's going to be a three-peat, and we're going to have to talk about history. Oh, it's so historic. Blah, blah, three-peat, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Who cares? The Chiefs are going to win.
I mean, yeah, your goat wouldn't be your goat anymore.
That's some depression in that man. That is a defeated man. That man is depressed. That is depression at its finest core, because that you just beat down. We're beat down now. everyone who's rooting against the Chiefs, we're just praying to God.
I love this
that Philly
situation, man.
burns to the ground after a Super Bowl, because that's what people do when they win Super Bowls. They riot and torch their town ass Vancouver.
Damn.
But let me go ahead and give you guys a little bit of insight here. So Matt brought up a really good stat earlier about the Chiefs defense, how they're only allowing 108 or whatever it was yards per game. They've allowed one rusher all year to get over 100 yards. It was Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was the only rusher to go over 100 yards against them. And my problem with this stat is that when you start to look at the average rush attempts per game for some of these players, right? How many times did they actually run the ball? And they faced, I think, 9 top 20 running backs in the NFL. These are all, I think, the only one they faced who wasn't 1,000-yard or rushers in the NFL. The only one they faced who wasn't 1,000-yard guy was Lamar Jackson, who had like 900 and some odd yards. Okay? Everyone else was 1,000-plus yard guy. They allowed one 100-yard rusher all season. Do you know how many the average lead rusher on a team carried the football against the Kansas City Chiefs? The average amount of times they carried the football. You guys know? I did the math. The
14
lead
times.
rusher, 14? Close. 12. 12 carries. The lead rusher against the Chiefs all season averaged 12 carries. In fact, Lamar Jackson at 16 had the most, I think, next to Chuba Hubbard, who had 18.
Oh, wow.
They have not faced a running back to carry the ball 20-plus times all year. All year. And you know how many one-score games they were in? 9. 9 one-score games. You didn't have a single running. And like I said, they faced 9 top 20 running backs and quarterback with Lamar Jackson. All those guys were 1,000-yard-plus guys. Most of them averaged 20-plus carries. And they didn't see a single one go over 20? In 9 one-score games, you'd have a single running back over 20? Eagles. Nick Sirianni, if you're listening, Kellen Moore, whoever's calling the plays this Sunday, whoever it may be, whoever's holding the play sheet, if you're listening, Eagles fans, if they're not listening, forward this to them. You're going to like this. If you don't give Saquon Barkley the ball at least 20 times, fire the whole coaching staff. That's an L. Right there. You want to know why you lost? That's it. If Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley do not go over, I'm just saying this, at least 38 rushes, combined, the collective, the two of them, better go over 38 rush attempts.
I don't know about 38, but it needs to be at over 35. It needs to be like just
arguing over 3 carries right now.
About 35.
You're going to argue me over 3 carries?
No,
right
I'm talking about like through the running back room, like Kenneth Gainwell, Saquon Barkley, and Jalen Hurts alike. It needs to be at 35 because and I know it's crazy, Matt, but like this team is not built. Like clearly, Jalen Hurts has been limited all year long. And it's hard for me to believe that all of a sudden he's just going to turn it up. I mean, we can give Patrick Mahomes the benefit of the doubt, but Jalen Hurts, I don't think so, man.
Well, here's what I think. I'm going to say Jalen Hurts goes for 100 on the ground. I'm going to say Saquon goes for 100 on the ground. They have their first game against 2 100-yard rushers outside of what the Ravens did. And the Eagles beat the Chiefs and prevent the three-peat. And Saquon Barkley proves to the world that running backs fucking matter in the NFL. That's where I'm at, mainly because I cannot bring myself to pick the Chiefs. It will not happen. So without further ado, I'm going to go to Chris before I get any backlash or anything from that. Go Eagles, fly. Hell yeah. Chris, what is your prediction for this game?
Oh, yes. Good time. Good time of the day. So for me, I'm gonna start with this. This for me is my way of talking directly to the Eagles, right? So for me, a one-liner for the Eagles is start fast and keep your foot on the fucking gas. Don't let that shit up. Because we have all seen, people have seen a million fucking stats, right? About the Chiefs have never been down more than 1 score at any point in the playoffs. And those games typically go their way. Now, I'm not throwing shade towards the refs. I'm not on the bandwagon fully. I might have my hands on the edge with the thought of jumping on, but I haven't jumped yet. I'm still on the any given Sunday belief system for now. However, if they've never been down more than one score at any point in the playoffs. That to me is a critical thing they need to be paying attention to. So if you start, because sometimes I think they're back and forth when it comes to being lackadaisy. Sometimes they start games really fast and they slow down in the second half, and then vice versa. Sometimes they start really slow in the first half and they ramp it up in the second half. We've seen that throughout the playoffs as well. If you want to win this game, you have to start fast and you have to keep your foot on the gas. Period. Now, with that said, I'm a very big person on the root for underdog, right? I'm that type of person. Hence my top 5 movie is literally Little Giants. Okay, if you know, you know. So I'm going with Philadelphia Eagles with the upset against the defending Super Bowl champs. I got the Eagles taking them out 38-27. So you're keeping them with more than being down just one score. I have Saquon Barkley doing 2 rushing touchdowns and a receiving tutty. So 3 tutties on touchdowns. And a rookie cornerback in Cooper DeJean pulls a Malcolm Butler and gets a fourth quarter interception to seal the game for the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly.
This has been Between the Uprights. Football is life. The rest is just details.